Forget about PSG. Who cares about J-Team versus Beyond Gaming? You know what you're really here for, and it's Liyab versus Alpha Esports. Who is going to walk away with a win today? One team, both of these teams are 0-6 so far, and it's taken a very long while to come to the conclusion. Someone has to win. But before we get into this one, we have to thank our sponsors at CTBC Bank, China Airlines, of course, Changhua Telecom. Thank you for making this league possible, and we have to have the final battle for the wooden spoon. I'm gonna keep this really direct and really short. Nice Star, tell me, who is it gonna be?
Who's going to take the win? It's Liyab. It's time.
All right. So why Liyab? I'm kind of interested in your analysis here.
I mean, for the side of Liyab, I just think that overall, they've got a lot more tools or a lot more ways to try and win the game. They've got two strong solo laners. They have a pretty aggressive bot lane that they can play through as well. But for Alpha Esports, we're going to see them on the screen. 3Z top lane, K-Babe, jungle, Xiaotu in the mid lane, On and Cheng in that bot side. For the side of Alpha, it really just comes down to how good is K-Babe and Xiaotu on the day. If they are nuts, they definitely can just run over a game very easily.
I agree with you, and it's kind of crazy to say, but I actually think Alpha Esports has the better overall player talent, but they do lack in coordination. K-Babe, like you said, has a lot of highlight moments, and then he has some completely throwaway moments that, you don't really want to mention. They're really incapable of playing team fights. On the other hand, Liyab, they are playing with determination. There's a fire that you can feel that they really want to win, that they've made strides, but just haven't clinched the W just yet. We're going to have Kanji in the top lane once more, Xyleth in mid, Dodoi jungle, and Don plus Aiden in bot.
Yeah, and this squad here, again, they have a lot of tools to play it from. They have Kanji, they have Xyleth. Dawn has really been kind of a highlight for me as well with how aggressive he does play. And if we do see Ziggs on the other side for the side of Alpha, you know that Dawn will try and play super aggressive. Maybe we even get to see that Draven come out, as the highlight matchup is going to be 3Z Kanji. Kanji, new player up in the top lane. Of course, both of these teams are 0-6, so the KDA is not going to look pretty from either end. But the big highlight is 3Z's been able to really play for the team when he has been able to get involved.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at these stats. It seems like the rest of the team doesn't really wait for Kanji to start anything. 23% kill participation. That has to be the lowest kill participation I've ever seen from any player.
Classic top laner.
So
he's
wonder
adapting well.
Yeah, he is not getting any part of the action. So we'll have to see if Liyab can right that. I believe that is wrong for sure. But out of these two top laners, it's really interesting because on one hand you have 3Z, who has a lot more experience in this solo lane, but for now hasn't been really doing that well in terms of the laning phase itself. We got a somewhat okay Lulu game, but outside of that, it's been a bit of a struggle. On the other hand, Liyab is just going to start off with Xiaotu's LeBlanc right off the table. This is 100% what you should do, and I think it's absolutely anticipated. Alpha Esports, they pretty much have one strategy. Xiaotu K-Babe, you go crazy on the side lane, you go two-man gank 24/7. So banning those two champions away, I think Liyab has already got themselves to a great lead.
Yeah, for the side of Alpha, it really is the game is played through K-Babe and Xiaotu, and on the flip side, Liyab, it's not necessarily all about Dodoi. They can definitely flip a couple coins with this player, but it's more about the other lanes rather than just this jungler. Akali taken away as well. A lot of these bans make a lot of sense. So with this first pick, what do we get to see? Olaf available. This is a K-Babe specialty here, and he is going to go ahead and lock that in. The Xin would be one of those champions that you would consider as well for a jungler, but into the Olaf, it can definitely be very difficult. And we could end up seeing a Trundle as perhaps a response to this Olaf instead.
Pretty decent start from Liyab, honestly. They know that they don't have to ban the Xin because there's so many high-powered junglers left, and Dodo actually plays himself a bit of Olaf. So I like the opening. They get essentially they get the free pick of Thresh, and they can still decide on what they want in the jungle position. Lee Sin is one of those old-time counters to Olaf. You can burst him down.
Yep, the execute.
Pretty heavily. And Olaf usually likes to clear with low HP, so we'll see how that one goes. Xiaotu going to go into his Rise, perhaps. This is another champion that I feel like gives him a lot of agency. We did see I will say an attempt at a base race. It did not work whatsoever, but there was an attempt. So Alpha Esports keeping their options alive with a bit of 1-3-1 potential and rounding out the first rotation with a Leona. It also looks like An is very tired for some reason.
He had to wait the entire day to get into this game, so just too excited, clearly. And he's burned through a lot of that energy. Hopefully he has enough energy to get the win for Alpha. Otherwise, Liyab fans rejoice. Jinx will be locked in for Dawn here, as that does give him a late game outlet, of course. And into the second phase of bans, we have the Varus taken away, the TF taken away by Alpha. And we'll see what they use to match against the Rise, because Rise at level 3 definitely has a lot of trade tools, but also a lot of push tools to help out Olaf when it comes to contesting these, the first two crabs.
I really would like a Karma here. We have seen, I'm not sure if you can take Maple into a good example here, but Maple had a great time against the Rise. Pushed him in 20-4-7. Nothing really much that Shaku could do. And in this situation, you have a hyper carry already. Karma does fit in quite nicely. We are going to see the solo lanes come out here for Liyab. They have to pick something, and it should be a counter against the Rise first, saving that top lane for last. But they have different ideas. They snap in the Camille for... I'm actually not sure who's going into top lane. I'm not sure which one of these players actually plays Camille. It's a complete mystery to me, and I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. To pick it this early definitely looks like a mistake, but perhaps the Liyab coaching staff are actually thinking of pivoting this Camille into the Rise lane to just maximize early kill pressure with an early Lee Sin roam. But that seems to be too telegraphed of a play, as if they do send it top lane, it's not going to be any fun into the Renekton.
Yeah, showing the Camille early was... I have a lot of question marks about that one. I don't feel like it's a champion that's really going to get contested, so priority picking it feels a bit weird for me. Okay, there we get the answer. This is why Liyab picked the Camille. They want to get the full-on cannonball composition going in, where Camille can just snipe down one target and then Galio jumps on top of it. I will say, though, after watching all the Alpha Esports games, I don't even think they try to keep An alive. Like, if An goes down, they're like, it's okay, our main damage is Xiaotu anyway, so I'm not really sure who the cannonball is going to be targeted at, and you can clearly tell that Alpha did not draft to protect An whatsoever.
Again, both of these compositions mostly geared up to just try and go cannonball or just really butt heads non-stop here. It's a very low range from both ends. Yes, you have two hyper carries in the Philios and the Jinx, but after that, it's just a bunch of meatballs. So Rise, if he's able to get really good positioning at the start of these fights, is definitely positioned to just mop up very easily. So when it comes to composition, when it comes to draft, I definitely have to favor the side of Alpha quite a bit here. And it's up to Liyab to try and figure out how to contest priority against a Rise Olaf.
Yeah,
I don't know how
I
they
agree
do it.
with you. Liyab is a team composition that if you take a look in a vacuum, you say this team definitely has the better 5v5. That's guaranteed. But the point is, can they actually get to the point where they're 5v5ing on equal footing? And that's a big question mark, as you highlighted, with this Olaf rise and with this Renekton getting pretty much free laning phases across the board. So we are finally on to the Rift. Neither of these teams have found a win just yet in the PCS, and someone has to break the trend. Who will it be? Well, we'll let our viewers decide as we go on to the Rift. I think both of us are favoring a little bit more towards Liyab. I do like their team fighting potential, and Alpha Esports it's very hard to get behind them because they do make a lot of communication mistakes. We're going to have a very early aggressive level 1 invade coming in from K-Babe. Taking a look at the runes overall, we do have a more standard teamfight rune in the Aftershock coming out from Xyliath, and a Conquerors on Xiao 2. Huh.
6 conquerors in this game. Alpha has more conquerors, so obviously they're going to conquer this game. But both
Brilliant
80 carries
analysis.
surprisingly. Both 80 carries surprisingly going for the conqueror rune. And I think it really just attributes to the fact that there's so many low range champs that you should be able to get it stacked up relatively well, but still you get more damage output where you get, of course, the extra attack speed, then really allows you to snowball off that first kill. However, it is what it is. They've gone for Conquer, and we'll have to see in the first fight how it plays out, how it works out for both of them.
We're seeing Liyab just start out on the wave immediately. A good move here by Alpha Esports to control the vision here. They do take an early sweeper and just pop that one from Liyab, giving them some opportunities to go all in from that brush later on. And in the meantime, taking a look at the jungle pathings, both junglers this time did start in the top lane, so we are going to have a party in the bot later on. Early levels, you should still expect 3Z to come out ahead of this lane. Camille definitely a champion that needs a bit of time to scale. And this is one of those, one of my favorite skins coming out for Camille. Very intricate design patterns right there. Aiden walking up, but Alpha Esports backing away, giving a lot of respect here. We do see pings coming down for Liyab. I think that is for Dodoy to put the wards down at the very least.
Going to ward out the... Well, actually, it is going to be a ward that just expires around that Raptor camp, and now they're going aggressive here. Aiden does have the Guardian, so when it comes to all-in trades, he is going to suffer a little bit, but when it comes to these short trades, definitely looks very, very good. So it's all about trying to take more poke-centric trading here for the Liyab bot lane, and there they go.
Good play coming out again. It does get the stun, but keeps Shung inside the minion wave for quite a while, and they do win that trade out in terms of HP. Alpha Esports, though, they do get the push, and that should be the first scuttle going their way. Not much that Lee Sin can really do about this one. So very well linked up by Alpha. In the meantime, we are seeing Xiaotu with an unconventional Conqueror rise. I guess it makes sense after Phase Rush nerf. He's gonna create a pretty sizable lead here, and it also started the Corrupting Potion, as we have seen him do in previous games as well, just for that extra bit of lane strength.
Yeah, and level 3, level 4, Rise Olaf, really just uncontestable in comparison to the Galio and the Lee Sin, where Galio, he only has one real wave clear tool. He can use the Justice Punch to a certain degree to help clear out minion waves, but definitely a high risk move if he does take that option. And Dodoy, of course, on the Lee Sin doesn't exactly power farm too well, so just gets that first clear, opts to concede the double scuttle, and Alpha Esports out to a good start, but this is to be expected.
Hey, don't you forget about my my Colossal Smash, okay? I love that ability. For some reason, it's like I find it really funny that Galio as a champion can full clear that easily with his passive, and the animation's really fun too. And I really like that they made it unstoppable. So it's like Colossal Smash, Unstoppable, makes perfect sense. Well done, Riot.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we're already seeing Alpha just hold on to their lead here. Graviton being used with a little bit of Inferno sprinkled in. Lots of damage here. And all three lanes at this point already at a deficit. Kanji gonna come in with the hook shot and forces the flash early. Well played by Liyab.
Really well done from this duo here. Kanji holding on to the hook shot for right after 3Z puts himself out of position, and Dodoy very, very swift on the pickup. So good summoner burn there, but Liyab, they need more than just a summoner. They do need early kills to really snowball some of these champions to get them to that level 6 breakpoint where they do start to really become relevant with their team fighting.
When you're talking about wombo combo team comps, it's usually up to those big ultimates like you mentioned. But for now, Liyab, they are so far behind in lanes, they really can't contest anything going up in river. I do expect them to just be losing out on these Drakes and early Heralds. They have a very strong pick comp as well. You can, if Dodoy is dexterous enough with this Lee Sin, then he can find some picks into the heroic entrance, and maybe that can get them back in the game. But as to be expected, they are suffering a bit of a loss right now, and especially the jungle position. You can see, I really like how K-Babe is playing this. He's just straight farming, and he's gathering up a storm, already about 4 camps ahead.
Yeah, this Olaf is truly just on an absolute rampage through the jungle, and he's not going to be stopping anytime soon, I feel, because he can just constantly speed clear through his camps, and he also has, of course, priority on these crabs because of the fact he has a Rise in that mid lane who has range advantage and pretty good wave clear, and he also has this Aphelios who's been in clear advantage against, well, Dawn, who is at a minion disadvantage here in this bottom lane.
Pretty fancy trading coming out from the top lanes. Kanji getting the last kick in for the grasp is able to equalize this out. And overall, I feel like Kanji's done a very good job, despite him actually being a mid laner, you know? I expected this matchup to be a little bit more
here it
for
is,
him, and
level
in
6.
comes the cannonball combo. 3Z going down really, really low, and the kill is going to go over to Xyliath. Instant white flag emote. I love that there was no delay on that one. You could tell that he was prepping for it mentally already. And Dodoy's hanging around for more. He has perfect vision on K-Babe. K-Babe
doesn't have level 6
find the Lee Sin, and now he does! And Dodoy just walks away because he doesn't have the Dragon's Rage.
Yeah, exactly. Not level 6
I got
onto the Lee Sin.
Sorry.
I think he thought that because he's level 5, the Olaf
good
wasn't there,
counter
teleport behind
here
them.
into the Death Sentence, and we do have help on the way.
Xyliath
Alpha
is here.
not able to close out this kill, and in comes Xyliath. On goes down. Shen
They're
is
doing
on
it.
the run. Dawn getting excited, just firing off with her rockets. Can she get the last kill? Death Sentence, a little bit too short. But Liyab still come up with another win. In the meantime, Alpha converging onto the top side. They want to go for the trade in kills. And here comes the Realm Warp. Kanji does flash out early, but is not going to be able to survive this one. Tries to walk back to tower, going low. And she finally does drop, which gives a big minion wave straight into Liyab's tower here. Kanji also doesn't have the TP, so this one is going to hurt.
That really, really hurts this Camille here, because not only did she not get that first blood up in that top side when it did happen, she also misses out on a very large minion wave crashing in. And okay, Xyliath is now spotted out, but I don't think they know.
Vision advantage to
turning.
Liyab for sure. They see
Aiden's here.
Oh, but they only get the support onto this one. They're going to fire up onto Sheng, and he's
That's the
instantly
reset.
down. Get excited from Dawn, and they are going to catch up onto this Herald. Thank you very much, Alpha, as they take this one down. A full 5-man rotation and extra vision from Liyab, winning the day for them. Unfortunately for Alpha, overextending a little bit there. But they do get some free gold on. There's no one to dissuade him from taking that. In the meantime, Liyab are going to try and race this for the first brick gold.
Yeah, and it's basically just It's still an even trade when it comes to gold, but we're going to see the replay of this bot lane fight. They go aggressive with the Alpha duo, and they just don't know that the teleport's coming in from Xylieth until it's way too late. And by that point, well, they're just too far. So that's the really nice kill or teleport sequence coming in from Xylieth, but the instant response comes out from Alpha, and this is what they've been really good at, is just making play calls with their mid jungle. When one play happens on one side of the map, those two immediately start another play on the opposite side.
Just felt it was kind of funny that On at the end did protect his support from surviving that gank. His body actually tripped up Xylieth, and the Justice Punch did not go through. It got the kill, but he probably wanted to give that one over to Dawn to extend the get excited anyway. But you know, fun things that will change the game just a little. We do have a tower trade here, and Dodoy still is holding onto his Herald. It does look like there will be a 3-man. Oh, K-Babe is stuck on a ward, so he's not going to come in on time. And Kanji's still hanging around this area. They're going to go for the straight trade. Kanji with the Hextech ultimatum stays alive for a very, very long time. Tower is still not down. Heal has to be forced away. And they finally get the tower. It does go over to Liyab's side first. So first brig gold in their hands. Kanji with a valiant effort.
Kanji with a valiant effort to stay alive, and they are going to be able to get 2 off of this. But the trade is Alpha are able to get full turret gold and turret platings onto their Affilio. So I would say it's a pretty even trade, all things considered. Yes, Liyab does get a little bit more gold when it comes to the extra tower gold, but at the same time, Liyab, they get a kill for themselves. They get a drag or Alpha kill, blue buff, dragon, and all the gold funneled into the Affilius. So it's all about On in these next team fights, and we talked about it in the drafts that On shouldn't be able to play these team fights, but now that he has all this gold, he has to play these team fights.
It's going to be pretty hard for him. He doesn't have the Thresh. Usually you only play the Aphelios when you have something like Thresh or Tahm Kench.
Yep.
And he also doesn't have Cleanse. So he has no way to get out of what Liyab throw at him. It's going to be very difficult, as you've mentioned. I would say the trade that we've seen here is basically map control for Liyab, but immediate gold and advantage for Alpha, as they are able to get a bit more CS here. We had Liyab with a 4-man stack and Alpha with a 3-2 stack, which does usually favor the 3-2 stack. It's a better spread for experience and gold. Yeah, for sure. And we do have Liyab coming up on the map super strong, though. I love this vision. Look how much wards, how many wards they have in the enemy jungle. And let's see if 3Z wants to defend his tower. Looks like he's just going to sit this one out. Does walk up. He has the Dominus. Everfrost is going to keep him in place. Takes a lot of damage. Kanji flies in and takes 2 tower shots as the rest of Alpha rotate in. Biggest winner, of course, is going to be Xiaotu on the side lanes, completely unperturbed in this push.
Yeah, and for the side of Liyab here, they've just been really looking for the next play as a team, which sounds good on paper. But because of that, they have lost resources to towers, and those resources are being obtained to its max on the side of Alpha. Everyone's in lane, they're getting all their farm, they're getting all the EXP, and that's why you see that slowly but surely Alpha have accumulated a gold lead, even though it feels good for Liyab right now because they are actively searching for plays as a squad.
You look at that CS mid, it's definitely a worrying sign as you have that Rise with over 50% extra CS compared to Xylieth here. So, you know, Liyab's one-shot combo might not even go towards On. It might be targeted towards Xiaotu at this point. We're going to have a huge power spike for Alpha as they walk up onto the map with 2 mythics on their main carries already. It'll be a bit of a reset for Liyab. However, I will say this Herald play has typically been the weakest point of Alpha's game. They've had a lot of trouble communicating across team members and keeping everything on the same page. So the 5v5s, I still give Liyab a bit of an advantage just because how easy it is to execute. You just open up on one target, and that should be enough. But we could have Shen popping over the wall. The scanner doesn't spot anyone. Oh, at the very last second he pops out, but Aiden is able to answer back with a flash of his own. And that play fizzles out. It should give Liyab enough time to rotate and contest the Herald as it's just about to spawn in 12 seconds.
Contesting Herald here, I feel like is a little bit more important for Liyab because again, their composition is more reliant on these earlier team fights with this Wombo. And it's just a lot of posture. We do have
the TP from Kanji here as well. K-Babe just trying to put some poke down. The main target we should be looking at is definitely going to be Sheng and his Zenith Blade or Solar Flare. Aiden now making his way into the Herald, and we see Alpha starting this one already. It looks like Liyab's not even going to contest this one, instead opting to just pick up the waves and set up for the next Drake. Currently Alpha already has 2 Drakes, so Liyab going to trade away that Herald in order for a better contest at the next objective.
And of course this is second Herald, so it's not like you're going to be able to farm a ton of tower plates, even though, yes, these tier 2 towers up in the side lanes are now more valuable, but for sure, you want to try and play around that bot side, around this dragon, but it does look like Alpha, they're just going to try and amp up the pace. They're funneling more gold into Xiao2, and they could possibly look for a pick onto Galio, but Galio does get his way out of there, and it will just be that tier 2.
Pretty smoothly done by Alpha. The kickback doesn't come through. In comes the TP. He's going to get a lot of damage on, but not enough to finish off on. On with the very, very cool head there, holding on to his flash for the Drake fight.
Yeah, and that's also the kick. It's also the kick expended from Dodoy, though. And I would say that would naturally put him at a disadvantage for this fight, but because of how many resources Alpha spent in that top side, they don't have positioning, they don't have vision for this dragon fight, so they just have to go ahead and concede it. And it will be Liyab able to secure themselves a Cloud Dragon, which is actually very helpful for this comp, because again, this comp is very reliant on a very one-punch strategy.
Getting the taunt down is extremely important for Galio, and that's usually how you your combo goes. You use your ult first, and then you try to get extra move speed into the enemy backline. As you said, Cloud Drake, great for this comp. I kind of question Dodoy's decisions there. I would definitely be willing to trade flashes with On, but Dodoy does hold on to that one a little while longer, and we are going to see a pretty strong push here from Alpha. Going to clear out the entire blue side, but they are missing a ward here, so their numbers are exposed. They know that Xiao2 actually isn't here. In the meantime, though, On does get another free tower. Alpha is just doing a full bench, full court press at this point. They're going to work on this bottom. Let's see if Liyab decide to engage on this one. In goes the hook shot. Hexic ultimatum plus the Galio as well. Alpha have to run away from this one. Sheng is hit up, and he's going to go down, giving the get excited. Oh, actually, Jinx is not in position here, and Alpha are just going to trade that kill away for some Xiao2. Oh, but here comes the flash into the 2-man. Do they find 3Z? In goes Dodoy for the slow and the kick. They do get that one kill, and On is running away. Meanwhile, Xiao2 is trying to get into distance for the realm of Dodoy. Tries to chase him down. No. He's not going to get punished for it. It's okay.
Yeah, and for the side of Liyab, they find the play. It's just always been kind of there for them as they continue to search for the team play, while Alpha continue to play around these side lanes, playing split and trying to get maximum gold everywhere on the map. This time around, it bites them in the butt, as it will be the engage. The Wombo comes through. They find that first kill onto Sheng. Unfortunately, the rocket didn't land.
Oh, we have Dodoy falling down already, but Xiao2 is gone as well. Sheng has nowhere to go, and that's going to be a 2-for-1 on Liyab right before the Baron spawn. Not sure how that started out, but looks like Dodoy does get a good kick combo in, or something of that sort, to just kill out Xiaotu. That's huge, because Xiaotu has been split pushing this entire time, and did acquire a bounty on himself. So Xyliath gets a big chunk of gold.
Xyliath being able to get that shutdown is key here to get him back into the game. Yes, he is on a Galio, so his scaling is relatively limited, but you need as much burst damage as possible coming in from this Galio ult, and any item that he can get to get a little bit more punch to that is going to help out. Snowball that into a Dawn ultimate, get that first reset for him, and you're good to go to snowball the rest of these fights. So Liyab, it's been, again, more of the team game, going around as a goon squad, for lack of a better term here, to try and find these fights, find these pickoffs. And for Alpha, it's just like, well, we lose one member, but we get 300 gold on the other side of the map.
Oh, Xyliath is going to get open on up. He does have the Zhonya's, but isn't able to reach the Lantern. Great pink ward out, and 3Z comes in back on the side. Doesn't find the Ruthless Predator, though. Alpha now going to turn around for the Baron. Realm Warp directly into the pit. Actually, they were trying to catch out Kanji with that Realm Warp. Not going for the pit directly. And we do have Graviton coming out. Aiden has to pop the box early, and Aiden should be going down here. Another two great finds for Alpha. They hold this 5v3 edge, but Xyliath is just about to res up. Alpha know that they can't really push for Baron at this juncture, so they're just going to get some extra cold instead. Dodoy, cheeky smite, does get his own Raptors back towards him. And let's see if Alpha decide to actually start on this one. It's very early in the game. They will get a 5v4, but it looks like they are still a bit worried about Liyab's potential for the counter engage. They're going to let that one slide and just walk away with the kill gold.
2 kills going into their hands, one of them being the shutdown onto Xyliath because he was 4-0-3 at that moment. Big shutdown going into their hands here, as now they're going to turn back towards this Baron. They have 2 items onto the Philios, one of them being the Kraken Slayer, so they can definitely do it very quickly if they rotate him over, but for the time being, it looks like they're just going to really trust the Machine Gun Mage with the Rise, and it's Dodoy trying to solo Dragon, but Baron's being done on the other side of the map.
Yeah, they get it for free. That was a great fake out. Alpha spend 2 members there with the Rise and Olaf, able to tank it up and deal enough damage to take it down. Liyab, on the other hand, they will get this 4th Drake of the game. Will be another Cloud for them. But that's still a sizable win on the side of Alpha. Let's see what Liyab can do to claw back a little bit more on the map. They're going to take it the entire bottom side as well, but I don't think that makes up for the Baron lost.
Definitely doesn't make up for the gold exchange there coming in from Alpha. They win the trade, and it's just been this constant back and forth for Liyab. It's about finding these pickoffs as a squad. For the side of Alpha, it's about making sacrifices to come out ahead in the gold trade. And that's why Alpha go ahead and take that gold trade, taking Baron for that Dragon exchange, and also, more importantly, avoiding the full-on team fight. They're looking to just really accumulate as much of a wallet that they can survive that one-punch strat from Liyab.
We have Kanji split pushing, being pinged out by Alpha. They are going to converge on this tower. No response from Liyab. Have to let this one go, and that's going to be a 5,000 gold advantage for Alpha as they crush in next onto the inhibitor. We talked about the catch potential from Liyab. That really dissipates when you don't have a numbers advantage going into this. Dodoy is waiting on the flanks for a potential pick, but he gets spotted out by Xiaotu. In comes the engage from Kanji. They put a lot of damage onto K-Babe, but in the meantime, Kanji also has to flash away, and Dodoy no longer has the stats to remain in combat. He's going to hang around here and see if he can fish out another hook. And we see Kanji going in onto the right side on K-Babe. Does have that extra sustain to keep himself alive, but the Gravitum does come in. Takes the Dark Passage out. 3Z burns the Dominance a little bit early. Is going to go in Can he find the stun? Actually,
He's
just
too far.
dies before getting anyone. And now
that's
Xiaotu
the
is in
reset.
danger. He's the most fed member. Can they find Xiaotu? The slow doesn't land, but the ultimate gets him. And that is Dawn getting excited, taking on 1v1 in the front lines. We have Zylet going in for the kill. That's going to be one kill, and the Hextech Ultimatum finishes off the second. Liyab are going to roll this team fight in with the teleport directly in front of the base. Death timers till about 30 seconds. It's going to be very difficult for them to close out, but they will try as they start up on this inhibitor. Should at the very least be one inhibitor and I think 3 towers for this play. K-Babe is getting caught out. If he dies here, it could just spell disaster. But no, he turns it around into 1v2 and even forces away Xyliath. No inhibitors taken for Liyab. What a hero play.
Clement, Liyab got a little bit too excited. They got the big kills, they got the snowball, and they were like, we can end the game. And they forgot to check what time in the game it was. It was only 25 minutes. The death timers aren't that long, and more importantly, Olaf is still strong in these 1v1, 1v2 situations when, well, one of them is Galio, who doesn't have a ton of burst damage, but you see here, 3Z goes in way too far ahead of his team. There's no follow-up, and he instantly just gets slapped down. And then a well-placed rocket means Dawn gets the reset, and it's off to the races. Xyliath flashes forward, knows that with that reset, they can chase all day long. But then the double teleport up top lane, that was a bit of a head scratch.
It's a bit much. They definitely could have focused down just one inhibitor at a time and be in a much better spot. Usually in these phases of the game, you do want the side lane inhibitor is a lot more valuable in these scenarios. And we also saw Dodoi with the Hyphy flash. Didn't need that flash whatsoever. Kanji has got that covered. But nope, Dodoi had to flash in for that one. So you can definitely tell Liyab is, I feel like they're losing their cooler though. They're just getting a little bit too hyped. I can understand if you're 0-6 that you would be pretty hyped. And I do want to commend Xyliath on that great team fight. 3Z was right on top of Dawn, and he couldn't use Ruthless Predator because he was taunted by the Galio. That was a really nice chain of events. They managed to make it a 4v5 off of that play and snowball the rest of it. But now they have to do it again. Alpha are still in the lead. There is no question about that. They have full river control, and Liyab not only have to make it happen once, they have to do it twice in order to earn their first W. Alpha just going to go over towards the Drake, completely uncontested. Liyab are way too far away to even impact this, and it should just be a straight and easy take.
Now the third dragon secured by Alpha, and now Liyab, they've got their split pusher online, and the fact that Kanji does have his 2 items. Unfortunately, both of these top laners that we kind of highlighted at the start before going into draft, well, their KDA is still suffering. 0-3-1 on 3Z and 0-3-5 on Kanji. Both of these players not having a great day, but one of these players will get the win, which has kind of been the theme all around. However, the highlight has been these mid laners. Xiaotu are able to pump out so much damage if given the time, but Xyliath in his just positioning in these team fights has been absolutely critical, and we need one more of those
Alpha going in for the engage. There is no tower here. Solar Flare does catch out Dawn. He puts the Flame Choppers down and is caught out by K-Babe, but is K-Babe a little bit too close to the sun as he falls down super low, and in the meantime, Kanji is opening up onto On. A great stasis by On, keeps himself alive throughout the entire fight, and he can still put back damage, but in comes Dawn with the get excited. He wants to walk forward, but can't find the targets just yet. He's going so damn low. Dodoi in the midst of everyone. On trying to lifesteal himself back to full health. He does take down all of the attackers, but the triple cover On turns around and kills everyone. It's gonna be On staying to the very last second, and he gets the ace. The death timers are all 30 plus seconds. 3Z and On still alive. They're going to look to close this one down. On doesn't care about taking 2 tower shots. He's rushing directly for the Nexus. That was a 3v2, but you can't beat the 200 years as he turned around and just unloads on the Jinx. Is anyone going to be alive? Xylia up in 8. He should still be here, but can he change the course of this game? It's going to go right down to the wire. Xylia now finally rezzing. He does have his flash. He has to go directly for the backline, but the TP is coming in. On flashes away, and Alpha find their first win. Alpha break the curse. Now 1-6. What an exhilarating game to find their first win.
I think 3Z still doesn't know what happened. He's like, the game's over off of that? On's also, you don't. Just looking at On's face, he's absolutely stoic. He's just absolutely stone-faced and like, we won? Like that? That's how it ends? Like, wow. But really, what a last fight there on the edge of our seat. It starts out with K-Wave going a little bit too far. The rocket comes out, but it doesn't find the finish. And then on the other side of the fight, Kanji goes straight in. They engage with their Wombo. And Dawn gets that first kill. However, because he doesn't have Cleanse, he almost just gets insta-bursted down, and this fight is absolutely on the knife's edge. You look at those health bars, but the Q comes out from On. He life steals off of infinite targets, and that was the end of the fight.
That was really, really sad. I felt like there was a bit of a split focus from Liyab as they try to go for one side. You know, they could have played to just one side of the team fight and just won that hands down. They didn't really need to. I felt like the earlier engage on from Kanji and Dodoi was a little bit unnecessary when Olaf was down to like 300 HP. I felt like they could have stood their ground and rolled it from the other side, but unfortunately, there was this wedge between them. And credit where credit is due. I felt like Shen did a very good job to actually keep to keep Dawn back into that ramp before he could come over and just finish off On. That was an exhilarating ride. I love that game to death. That was one of the best games of the day, hands down. But you know, at the end, congratulations. The winless are finally crowned.
Alpha Esports finally get out with a win. I mean, both of these teams had signs that they could pull off maybe an upset. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to do so in the first 6 games, and Liyab themselves still have to wait for an 8th game to possibly get a say if they can handle a win. But we knew this game was going to be messy. It wasn't going to be pretty, and you know what? It was still a very entertaining game.
I love that game. That's definitely going to be a game I remember. I just wish that Liyab could have, you know, played that a little bit better. Honestly, I'm so surprised he was able to survive because he didn't have any like traditional protection champions. He was actually just standing there. He took the Hextech ultimatum to the face. He took the hero's entrance on top of him, and then he also got Dragon's Rage in that team fight. And somehow through all of that, he was still able to clean up and win the game off of that massive game from On. That was his best performance by a mile out of this entire season. And Alpha closed out in 30 minutes and 10 seconds.
On, he gets the MVP. It makes a lot of sense. He was the reason why they won that last team fight. 1 Q, 1 win, 3 kills. And you look at the endgame stats for the side of Alpha, 11 kills, but more importantly, 19 assists. It really showed how they attacked the map. It's about attacking all these areas in smaller skirmishes rather than full-on team fights. And on the flip side, you saw the side of Liyab, they had 34 assists. It's all about grouping up and finding team plays rather than individual plays.
I like their strategy coming into this one. I think that's definitely going to be their edge, the communication, the ability to go 5-man, really easy execution into the team fight. And I'm just kind of sad that they didn't pull it off in the very end. Honestly, Alpha gave them a pretty good start to the fight. Not gonna lie, that was a very good start of the fight for them. I mean, like K-Babe, the front line's already chunked out. K-Babe and 3Z didn't really do much in that fight, let's be honest. They were on the left side, and they couldn't come back in. And when they did, they just died. So it's just Liyab. I felt like with all those ultimates, they couldn't chain it together onto On, and On just outplayed all of them individually. That was like watching a John Wick movie where you have all of these assassins. There's ninjas on the ceiling. There's like Thai kickbox artists on the floor, and somehow John Wick just kills all of them. So
yeah.
Congratulations to Alpha. Congratulations to On. You have weathered the storm, and we have only one team, Liyab, that is unfortunately winless and still left wanting for that B column. That's going to be it for our Battle of the Wooden Spoon. We are going to head on to our last and probably best match of the day between J Team and